The MultiPro is a portable gas detector designed for the detection of oxygen deficiencies, flammable gas and vapor accumulations, and toxic gases. This video includes an overview of the instrument's capabilities, as well as instructions for everyday use, calibration, and basic maintenance. The MultiPro can be configured to monitor up to 4 atmospheric hazards simultaneously: oxygen, combustible gases and vapors, carbon monoxide, and hydrogen sulfide. The MultiPro is housed in an impact-resistant polycarbonate case with a rubber overmold and is designed to operate reliably under harsh conditions. Special radio frequency interference shielding protects the MultiPro from interference from radios and other electronic devices. All of the procedures necessary for day-to-day operation, including the automatic calibration adjustment, are controlled through the mode button on the front of the instrument. Gas readings and other data are updated in real time and are shown in the MultiPro's front-mounted LCD display. A manually activated backlight allows the MultiPro to be used in low-light conditions. A bright red top-mounted LED alarm light and a loud audible alarm provide alarm state information. Each instrument is shipped with your choice of alkaline or rechargeable lithium-ion battery packs. The battery packs are interchangeable. Either battery pack will provide power to the instrument for up to 24 hours of continuous operation. The alkaline battery pack runs off 3 replaceable AA alkaline batteries. All MultiPro gas detectors feature a calibration reminder that is shown when the instrument is turned on and can be set to specific intervals between 0 and 180 days. Biosystems recommends that sensor accuracy be verified frequently. The safest course of action is to verify sensor performance daily. See Appendix B of the MultiPro Reference Manual for official calibration recommendations. Each MultiPro is shipped with a belt clip, quick reference card, reference manual, training CD, calibration adapter, and a short section of tubing for use in calibration. If the MultiPro is purchased as an alkaline instrument, the standard accessories include an alkaline battery pack and 3 AA alkaline batteries. If the rechargeable version of the MultiPro is purchased, the standard accessories include a lithium-ion battery pack and a MultiPro charging station. The battery can be charged while attached to the instrument or separately from the instrument. The optional manual sample draw kit includes a sample probe with filters, 10 feet of tubing, squeeze bulb, sample draw adapter, and a set of sample probe replacement filters. For long-term remote sampling applications, a motorized continuous sample pump is available for the MultiPro. Pump accessories include a sample draw probe with 10 feet of tubing and a replacement filter kit. The MultiPro is designed to monitor continuously. An alarm condition indicates the presence of a potentially life-threatening hazard and should be taken very seriously. The safest course of action is to immediately leave the affected area and to return only after further testing determines that the area is once again safe for entry. The MultiPro was designed to be easy to use. The mode button is located on the front face of the instrument and controls all procedures necessary for day-to-day use, including initiating the automatic calibration sequence. To turn the instrument on, just press and release the mode button. The MultiPro will automatically proceed to the LCD test screen. At this time, all sections of the LCD screen should be lit. The software version is shown next. If the instrument includes a fully enabled data logger, the letters DL will be shown to the right of the software version. The sensors recognized by the instrument will then be shown, followed by the instrument serial number. The MultiPro includes a black box recorder as a standard feature. For instruments with the standard black box recorder, the screen will then display "Not a data log." This means the instrument does not have the data logging option enabled, but does still contain the black box recorder as a standard feature. If your MultiPro includes the data logger upgrade, the current data sampling interval will be shown in minutes with the word data log. At the default data log sampling interval of 1 minute, the MultiPro will store approximately 41 hours of data before it begins to write new data over the oldest data. The sampling interval can be modified with Biosystem's BioTrack program using a PC with an IRDA port, or the sampling interval can be modified directly with the mode button on the instrument. Direct programming options are covered in the MultiPro reference manual. The time and date will then be shown. Time and date settings can also be modified with Biosystem's BioTrack program using a PC with an IRDA port, or can be modified directly with the mode button on the instrument. The self-test screen will then be shown. During the self-test, the MultiPro checks for installed sensors and performs a system memory check. After the self-test, the temperature currently registered by the instrument will then be shown. Note that the temperature shown is the temperature in the MultiPro's sensor chamber and may not correspond to the ambient air temperature. The next 4 screens displayed by the instrument are the alarm screens. The first alarm screen is the warning alarms. Warning alarms indicate a hazardous atmospheric condition that has not yet risen to the level necessary to initiate the danger alarms. The warning alarm is indicated by a repeating single-tone audible alarm. Danger alarms indicate a significantly hazardous condition. The danger alarm condition is louder than the warning alarm and is dual tone. Short-term exposure limit, or STEL alarm values, represent the average concentration of instrument readings for the target gas for the most recently completed 15 minutes of operation. The default STEL alarm level for the MultiPro CO sensor is 100 parts per million. The default STEL value for the MultiPro's H2S sensor is 15 parts per million. Time-weighted average, or TWA values, are calculated by taking the sum of exposure to a particular toxic gas in the current operating session in terms of parts per million hours, and dividing by an 8-hour period. The default TWA alarm for the MultiPro's CO sensor is 35 parts per million. The default TWA value for hydrogen sulfide is 10 parts per million. After the alarm screens have been displayed, the instrument will show when it is due for calibration. If the instrument is past due for calibration, the screen will display Needs Cal. It will not move on to any further screen until the user acknowledges this message by pressing the mode button. If the pump is attached to the MultiPro when the instrument is turned on, the pump will be activated and the sample draw assembly will be tested for leakage. The MultiPro will instruct you to block the sample draw probe, which must be attached to the inlet port on the pump during use. Block the pump inlet by placing a finger over the end of the sample probe assembly. Once the instrument recognizes that the sample has been blocked, it will instruct you to remove the blockage. Once the blockage is removed, the instrument will proceed to the current gas reading screen. If the MultiPro is unable to detect a proper seal between the instrument and the pump, the display will instruct you to remove the pump. Once the startup sequence is completed, the current gas reading screen will be shown. Readings are updated in real time. At the center of the display is a heart symbol that will beat every few seconds to let you know that the instrument is functioning. The word pump will be shown at the left center edge of the display if the instrument detects a pump is attached. The battery icon at the lower center of the display gives an indication of the remaining battery strength. When the battery icon is empty, it is time to either change or recharge the batteries. To turn on the backlight, just press the mode button once. To view the max readings screen, press the mode button once to turn on the backlight, and then once more. The max readings represents the highest readings registered by the instrument during the current operating session. Pressing the mode button a third time will show the STEL screen, and a fourth time will show the TWA screen. The MultiPro must be in continuous operation for at least 15 minutes before it will be able to calculate TWA values. For the first 15 minutes of any operating session, the screen will show the length of time that the instrument has been operating instead of the TWA values. Please note that if the mode button is pressed 3 times quickly, the MultiPro will enter a calibration subroutine. So always pause briefly between screens. To turn off the MultiPro, press and hold the mode button until the display reads Release Button. The screen will then display Off, and Please Wait will then be shown, after which the screen will go blank. The MultiPro can be used in either diffusion or sample draw mode. In either mode, the gas sample must reach the sensors for the instrument to register a gas reading. The sensors are located at the bottom of the instrument. Each sensor has its own sensor port. In diffusion mode, the atmosphere being measured reaches the sensors by diffusing through the sensor ports. Normal air movements are enough to carry the sample to the sensors. Diffusion-style operation monitors only the atmosphere that immediately surrounds the detector. The sensor ports must be kept free of obstructions. Blocked sensor ports can lead to inaccurate and potentially dangerous readings. The MultiPro can also be used to sample remote locations with the optional hand-aspirated sample draw kit. To use the manual sample draw kit, connect the short section of hose that comes from the squeeze bulb to the sample draw adapter. The hose should be attached to the port at the right and below the knurled screw on the adapter. Then connect the other end of the hose to the sample probe. Before using the manual sample draw kit, the seals must be tested to ensure they are adequate. To test the seals in the sample draw system, cover the end of the sample draw probe with a finger and squeeze the aspirator bulb. If there are no leaks in the sample draw kit components, the bulb should stay deflated for a few seconds. Secure the calibration adapter to the MultiPro by inserting the tab and tightening the knurled screw at the top of the adapter. Insert the end of the sample draw probe into the location to be sampled. Squeeze the aspirator bulb several times to draw the sample into the sensor compartment. In order to ensure that the sample is reaching the sensors, allow 1 squeeze of the bulb for every 1 foot of sampling hose. Continue to squeeze the bulb for an additional 45 seconds or until the gas readings stabilize, and note the gas measurements. Hand-aspirated remote sampling only provides continuous gas readings for the area in which the probe is located when the bulb is being continuously squeezed. Each time a reading is desired, it is necessary to squeeze the bulb a sufficient number of times to bring a fresh sample to the sensor compartment. For long-term remote sampling applications, an optional built-in motorized continuous sample draw pump is available. To turn the pump on, simply attach it to the instrument and secure it with the knurled screw. The MultiPro will automatically recognize the pump and will start the pump initiation sequence. Block the pump inlet by placing a finger over the end of the sample probe assembly. Once the MultiPro recognizes that the sample has been blocked, it will instruct you to remove the blockage. Please note to always use the sample probe when performing remote sampling. The probe handle contains filters designed to block moisture and particulate contaminants, which may cause damage to the internal components of the instrument. Replace the sample probe filters whenever they become discolored or when the low flow alarm indicates a blockage. The MultiPro's batteries are housed in easily removed battery packs. The rechargeable lithium-ion battery pack and disposable alkaline packs can be used interchangeably. The instrument automatically determines which type of battery is installed. Low battery alarms warn when battery voltage is too low for safe operation. Always turn the instrument off prior to removing the battery pack. To remove the battery, first loosen the top center screw on the back of the instrument. Then gently pry the two clasps at the top of the instrument open, while simultaneously pulling back on the back cover plate away from the main instrument housing. Since the battery pack is housed in the back cover plate, this will automatically disconnect power from the instrument. The alkaline battery packs hold 3 AA-sized disposable alkaline batteries. Be sure to align the battery polarities as shown in the battery pack. The lithium-ion battery pack is sealed and cannot be opened in the field. The battery pack can be recharged while installed in the MultiPro or removed and charged separately. The charger will completely recharge the lithium-ion battery pack in about 5 hours. The green charge LED on the right side of the charger is lit during the charging cycle. Once the battery is fully charged, the charge LED will turn off. Please note that the MultiPro must be located in a non-hazardous location during the charging cycle. Charging the MultiPro in a hazardous location may impair the intrinsic safety. The simplest way to test sensor response is by performing a bump test. Turn the MultiPro on and allow the readings to stabilize. 5 minutes is usually sufficient unless a sensor has just been replaced. See the MultiPro reference manual for further details on replacing sensors. Check the readings for fresh air. The oxygen reading should be 20.9%, and the LEL and toxic sensors should read 0. If the instrument shows readings other than 20.9% for oxygen and 0 for the LEL and toxic sensors, the instrument should be fresh air or 0 calibrated before proceeding with the bump test. Attach the calibration gas cylinder, regulator, and calibration adapter with a short section of tubing to the MultiPro. Make sure that the cylinder threads and seating surfaces are clean and dry when attaching the regulator to the gas cylinder. All-in-one calibration mixtures are especially convenient when doing a bump test. Flow gas to the sensors and allow the readings to stabilize. 45 seconds to 1 minute is usually sufficient. The alarms should activate. It is not necessary to make a calibration adjustment if the readings are between 90% and 120% of the expected value as given on the label of the calibration gas cylinder. Readings between 90 and 120% are considered to be accurate, and it is safe to use the instrument without further adjustment. If the readings are considered inaccurate, then the instrument must be span calibrated before further use. Calibrating the MultiPro is a 2-step procedure. Step 1 is the fresh air or 0 calibration adjustment. Take the instrument into an area where the air is known to be fresh. Press the mode button 3 times within 2 seconds to initiate the fresh air 0 calibration sequence. The instrument will show auto cal briefly before showing 0 cal and beginning a 5-second countdown. To return to the current gas reading screen and bypass the fresh air 0 calibration, allow the clock to count down without pressing the mode button. To initiate the fresh air calibration sequence, press the mode button before the unit completely counts down to 0. The instrument will automatically adjust the oxygen, combustible gas, and toxic gas readings to match the concentrations expected in a fresh air environment. 20.9% for oxygen, 0% LEL for combustible gas, and 0 parts per million for the toxic gases. Once the fresh air calibration has been successfully completed, the instrument will proceed to the automatic span calibration sequence. The instrument will display the word CAL along with a calibration gas bottle icon, and another 5-second countdown will begin. If the mode button is not pressed within 5 seconds, the instrument will return to normal operation. Press the mode button before the end of the 5-second countdown to initiate the span calibration adjustment. Apply gas will then be shown alternately with the expected concentrations of calibration gas for each sensor. Attach the calibration gas cylinder, regulator, and calibration adapter with a short section of tubing to the MultiPro. Make sure that the cylinder threads and seating surfaces are clean and dry when attaching the regulator to the gas cylinder. Once the instrument recognizes the calibration gas, the current gas readings will be shown with the sensor types. The calibration is fully automatic from this point on. Upon successful calibration of a sensor, the MultiPro will beep and show the adjusted reading for the calibrated sensor, and then move on to the next sensor. Once the calibration of the LEL and all toxic sensors is successfully completed, the instrument will briefly show the maximum adjustment values screen. The maximum adjusted values for the LEL and toxic sensors give an indication of the relative health of the sensors. As a sensor loses sensitivity, the maximum possible adjustment will decrease to approach the expected concentration of the calibration gas. When all sensors installed in the MultiPro have been adjusted, the instrument will shut itself off. Disconnect the calibration assembly prior to turning the instrument back on. This video training guide is designed to help our customers in basic day-to-day use of the MultiPro atmospheric monitor. It is not intended to replace the written owner's manual. Consult the owner's manual for details of the procedures covered in this training video. Thank you for choosing the MultiPro, and thank you for choosing Biosystems. No one makes it easier.